What's going on, guys? Ellie from Copenhagen here. You might not know who I am, but you've got nothing better to do. So watch the Soccer Cooligans, talking all things football, politics, music, culture. Swipe up, click the link,
That'll do. That'll
perfect.
do. Ay, papi!
Come on now, 2022.2.
That didn't sound like an excitement about 2022. It sounded like an appeal to be kind to us. 2022.
Yo, it really is.
Is that now what we're reading this? Like,
This
is
is-
a thing now?
By the way, this is true. I'm no longer celebrating the new year. I am having a funeral for the previous year. That's what I'm doing from now
It's gonna
on.
be the,
I refuse to be excited.
It's the year of mourning, 2022.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prem Show. We are the Cooligans. My name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerrero.
All right, we are your favorite stand-up comedians that host the funniest football show right here on Twitch every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time normally, but today we're starting at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
And I like the results so far. And it's not just that. We also happen to be the gulliest. And not just that, we also happen to have an amazing guest.
That's right. We happen to be the guestiest, okay? Because
wow, guesty in here. You guys smell that? It smells like cookies in here. Hey, there it is.
We are joined by our dear friend of CBS Sports and a teammate, a member of Cooligans FC as well. Christine Cupo. Christine, what's up? How are you doing?
Hello, gentlemen. I have missed you terribly. It's been a long break. But
Bing bong.
Too long.
Okay.
Hey, we got a couple bing bongs in here now.
Okay.
For everyone listening, we did say that, we would be adding these sounds that people can, I guess, use their gully bucks to activate, redeem.
Right.
And now, so throughout the show, at some point, you're just going to hear James Hand say bing bong, and you're going to hear an air horn. Is it tied to anything we say or something dope? No, it's whenever the damn Tuicheteros feel like it.
All right. The Tuicheteros are the fourth guest on the show. They get to have 100%. A say in what we discuss. But we are excited to be here today, live on Twitch. As a reminder, always make sure you subscribe to the podcast, and also check out our television show every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Fubo Sports Network. This Thursday, we have an incredible guest. We'll say she won a World Cup, U.S. Women's National Team player, but we hate saying people's names until we actually do the interview because anything can happen. You know how it is.
I'll give you a hint. If you could spell her name without making a mistake, I'd be very impressed.
Okay. All right, look at that. We're tossing hints. Okay. Also, really just, you can't spell Mewis, Alexis? Is that too hard? Okay. Is that hard? Yeah, so make sure you check that out Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And as always, subscribe to the Cooligans podcast. All right.
Let's go.
We have to just get right into the show because it's obviously, it's 2022, the first show of the year, but whatever. It's happened in England. It was Boxing Day. Some countries take breaks because apparently they hate working. You know what I mean?
Real quick, before you continue, I just want you to know that Sabuteo jokingly said in the chat, spelled out Christine Cupo as in this is the person we're going to have as a guest who won the World Cup, and then misspelled Cupo.
Story of my life. Is it ever good enough for you?
Wait, you know what?
You try to make a joke about how easy it is to spell.
But I'm curious. Do you ever get either mispronunciations of your name or misspellings of it? Do people say Cupo? Is that a thing?
So yeah, actually, it's funny because my grandfather, and it's her surname, so he actually became the #1 offender. Which I think this just happens with very simple Italian. Well, actually, I won't even relegate it to Italian last names, but yeah people would do Cupo. And so he would overcorrect and start to say Cupo. And I'm like, who are you? We're not related. But I, because of that, have had many, many nicknames that are just derivatives. So for most of my life, I've just been Coop, Coops, Coopy.
Okay.
It's fun.
Yeah. Like Coop,
Coop, yeah, Coop is actually the most common, or Coops, I get a lot. Especially having played. I think if you're an athlete and a woman, you either don't have a first name or you have a nickname and that's what you go by. It's a moniker for the rest of your life.
It reminds me of, remember the show Hanging with Mr. Cooper? It's like,
yes. Oh my God.
Hanging with Mrs. Cupo.
Memory unlocked. Yeah.
We got a spin-off here on our show. I used to when I played football in high school, they put the American one. They put your last name on your helmet, right? And it would say Guerreros, and everyone was like by your last name. So they'd be like, "Yo, Smith, get over here. Johnson, get over here. Yo, Alexis, get over here." Like, I'm not even. There's too many R's. I'm not going anywhere near it. So I was the only one who got called by their first name.
Okay.
Oh, Justin Freeberg just said the Cooligans. Here we go.
The mashup that only drunk people ask for.
It works. It works. All right. Let's start today's show. Obviously, we're hyper focused on European football, calcio, footy, whatever you want to call it. But obviously, you are. Our resident Italian correspondent, I guess now.
Right, Serie A expert.
Okay.
Hey, look who's in the chat. First time chat from Lee. Has all the MLS transfer activity made the come down a little easier from your World Tour / NYCFC Championship high?
No.
Great question. The answer is no.
No, we're still quite high. We have to start with Lorenzo Insigne. Obviously, the Neapolitan, okay, as all the Italians say. But Lorenzo Insigne, we've obviously seen all signs are pointing that he's gonna play for Toronto FC. So he's leaving.
It's basically been confirmed, has it not?
Yeah.
Because Fabrizio Romano weighed in, and as soon as you get a
what do you say? Aki vai? What is here we go in Italian?
I don't even want to even try.
Andiamo. Let's go.
But
yeah, I mean, it's
obviously
as good as done. If Fab says it's done, it's done.
Right. So
it's done.
So really, the main issue here is that everyone is upset that how dare he take his talents to Major League Soccer. There was a tweet from...
The bag is bigger than him. I mean, what are we talking about?
My short king, listen, you have to respect a man who can carry that big of a bag of cash. He and I are the same height, so...
Yeah.
So that's kind of...
But he doesn't have the collection of heels you have, so it looks different.
Okay, well, he can afford them now, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But
do you think, let's start with, is he crazy? Last time I checked, Napoli are in third place. They have a pretty good shot at least making a run for the league. He's going to stay there to the end of the season. What is he, 31 years old?
He'll be 31 in June.
He'll be 31 in June. So by the time he gets there, he's going to be 31. Mm-hmm. Is this stupid of him to run to Toronto and essentially be out, quote unquote, of the Azzurri picture?
We'll get to that because that's not necessarily a guarantee. But I don't think that it's stupid at all. So the reality of it is you're looking at Napoli, born and bred kid. Okay, he's been with Napoli for 12 years. This is basically all
to the end.
Right,
of him.
to the end of him. Less a couple of brief loans when he was a baby. Okay, so this man, and culturally, especially Serie A, if you are that kid, you have even more pressure on your shoulders to perform and succeed because you've sort of become their token. And it's still true, right? He's their captain now. So there's that entire aspect of it. But he's also their totem. He's everything that they stand for. So Napoli stand to lose a lot more than most teams with him leaving, not to mention he's a brilliant player. So I don't think that it's a bad move as far as he's concerned. He's going to get roughly 11.5 million euro plus an additional 4.5 million bonus, and that's over 5 years. Plus a house, plus a car, plus English lessons for the entire family. And I think that he's really looking down the road in terms of what do I want my children to experience and have that I can give them, which who would fault a parent for that?
Right. And
it doesn't, the way that things have changed, especially Serie A, right? So yes, Napoli are top 3 right now, second. And there's 6 points or so to shuffle between the top 7 slots. The table is very packed. Okay. It's very competitive. It's anybody's up for grab at this point. And so the nature of Serie A has changed, but so has MLS. Right. Yeah. So we're not looking at the same comparisons as we have in the past. And that's great for the game all around.
Yeah, the first thing I noticed, I'm like, just the idea of getting his whole family English lessons. Like, Bob Bradley's going to be installing Duolingo on everybody's phone. He's like, look, we're going to take care of you, all right?
Hold on. Bob Bradley's from Jersey. Who's going to give him English lessons?
Honestly, send me Bob. I'll teach him Italian. It might be quicker.
Yeah. So it's not actually spelled Mootz for the cheese? It's crazy. What's all these extra letters for?
Bob Bradley in training to just turn to Insigne and be like, "Cosa stai facendo?"
Got it. Yeah, I know exactly what.
All Insigne is gonna hear is the Godfather violin in the background.
See, I was gonna say, like, the thing that is at least for me as a person who's not a Toronto FC fan, the exciting part for me is how upset this signing is making everybody in Europe, and they just like they can't.
Also in Liga MX. Like, no, not again.
But I love that this is, you know, like the like MLS is becoming this like kind of like silent bidder, you know what I mean? That it can secretly kind of poach some players from time to time, and people are, you know, our friend Sam Tai, he tweeted about it, saying like, why would he?
Poor Sam. Yeah, Sam got clobbered.
He started with all due respect, or as much respect, and just like, dude, we didn't read that part. We didn't read that part.
I too skipped that part, and I was like, Sam, you want to talk? You want to take this outside? But, like, this is a personal affront to me now.
But it is interesting, like, that this is becoming the frustration for a lot of people in Europe, where they really can't understand that MLS is even mildly relevant in the ranking of global football, that that players may actually want to play here. You know, even when we were in England to go see the NYCFC playoff match against the Union, it was like we still had to, even for the people that probably in the bar that don't even really care that much about other leagues or whatever, or even the sport in general, we had to like violently try to convince them, like, trust me, it's okay to put this on for just a moment. It's just an MLS
People
match.
that were leaving the bar were against them turning it on. As they were leaving the bar, you're not even going to be here. But I think that also, does this say more about the trouble that Serie A is going through financially over the past like 2 years? About the reaction that's like, oh no, if we lose Insigne and MLS is willing to pay damn near 20 million, you know, a year. What does that say about us?
I don't think that you're too far off base. I think that this pandemic has illuminated a lot of financial issues that have been exacerbated, that they previously thought, oh, we can recoup this creatively, right? Whether it be in stadium revenue or otherwise. This has lasted far longer than any of the leagues, including Serie A, had anticipated. But also, I mean, just going back to basics, Napoli's owner, Aurelio De Laurentiis, is like an all business socks kind of guy. This hasn't changed. Yeah. If he does not see the value or think that you are worth X amount of dollars, he is not paying it, even if you are his own child. So his
I like this guy already. You know?
He's very much a business guy. Let's put it that way. Okay.
It ain't personal. It's like, Dad?
Right. So yeah, it's like, listen, I don't see that this being a fair value exchange going forward, even though you've been here for 12 years and you're still performing at the highest possible levels for us. You are obviously our talisman and otherwise our team captain, right? But I think that because of that loyalty too, it made it even less likely that Insigne would have gone to another Serie A club.
We got in the chat, Saboteo said, can Insigne do it on a rainy Tuesday night in Stoke? He's not going to need to. He's going to have to do it on a snowy Tuesday night in Toronto.
Can he do it in earlobe deep snow? Because it may reach that height realistically.
Yeah. Thank God that pitch is warmed. And he's so close to it, you know. Thank you. Also, thank you, DBT1178, for hitting the subscribe button. But there was a question in here. Oh, yeah. Well, Peter Garcia said something really funny. He said Twitter journalists are equivalent to that one weird kid in class wearing khaki saying, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. What a very specific person he's talking about.
I was like, man, who is this? Steve? This is like a person you know.
Yo, you don't like this kid.
I'm like, are you saying I wear khakis?
Yeah, I think he was making fun of Sam T. for Ty.
Sam.
But let's talk about what does because Napoli's not making any money from this transfer. This is technically a free transfer.
He's a free agent. Yeah, he's a free agent.
Yeah. So does Napoli lose an opportunity here to have either, like you say, sign down the hometown kid, the born and bred Partenopai, which look, my wife's families are all from Naples. Naples people are wildly like tribalistic. They love Naples more than they love Italy. Like Naples is the thing is the flag they root for first.
It's religion. It's everything.
I'm gonna guess here that it's Maradona, God, Naples, pizza, like in that order. Maybe your grandmother at some point in there.
You're not far off. You're actually hitting it right on the target.
But what does this say about him? And also, what does it say about Giovinco, who came out and said, "quote unquote," it's not real football, but he's gonna love it. And I think his interview was a little bit misquoted.
A little bit.
And I think actually Marco Messina did a really good job of
incredible job
kind of clarifying some of that with Giovinco the other day. So if you haven't actually caught that interview, it's a worthwhile listen. He gets to say in his own words that basically he wanted to just say that, the leagues are different. They're not comparable. It's just different soccer. And it got overblown, as most things do. But of course, they're going to sensationalize that. It's going to get clicks, and people are going to pay attention to that. But he also acknowledged that MLS as well as Serie A are different now than they were in 2015 when he went to Toronto, which is fair,
for sure,
right? And
partly because of him.
I'm right, and I'm not right. Like, there's going to be the pioneers, essentially, right, that came from abroad to do their work, but quite frankly, Giovinco is a great player, but he really did his finest work in MLS. So I'd never take that away from him by any means. But I think that because he's such an easy one-to-one comparison for people that maybe don't watch both leagues, it's inaccurate, right? There's different accomplishments, there's different skills tactically that Insigne have and Giovinco have that just aren't. It's not an apples to apples comparison, right? Like, you have Insigne coming in on the back of a 2020 Euro win, which is great. But he also is, and again, I do not wish to do any Giovinco erasure, but like, Insigne has 114 goals in 414 appointments for Napoli alone. Giovinco was never putting up those numbers. Same thing for the Azzurri, 10 goals, 53 apps. It's not, you're not looking at the same player.
53 appetizers.
Incredible. Yeah. This guy's a legend.
All the mozzarella stick. He's definitely a mozzarella stick guy.
I am I'm an Insigne fan, dude.
I think what happens is, people look at Giovinco and they look at Insigne and they're like, they're the same height. They were probably the exact same player. And no,
right.
Insigne has
they're very different.
Yeah. They're both quick. They're both talented, but they're just not the same.
I'll say this. So, if Insigne doesn't do what Giovinco did at Toronto, it is going to be, a tremendous waste of money, right? The bar is actually very high.
I think the thing is,
if you couldn't spend $20 million and get the PR that Toronto FC has already gotten.
Okay,
I think right. Like, I agree with that part, but so just to draw a comparison, right? So talking about bloated paychecks, irrespective of player, right, and expecting certain things to come of it. Whether or not, how are we measuring success, right? So what this will be an ongoing, if not never-ending, discourse as to whether or not he succeeded at Toronto at the end of the day, right? And this isn't going to be very different from the Ronaldo at Juve signing and discourse from there, right? So it just gives people more things to argue about on the internet. Bless up. Like, that's what it's going to be.
Give me more.
Okay?
I need it.
In the meantime, I think that it really will reinvigorate some interest in MLS. I think that you have to give shouts to all my Toronto Italians because they're deep in there, and that will be certainly appreciated to have somebody on Canadian soil once more to kind of dazzle them. And it'll be fun to watch, right? He'll join mid-season. And we'll see what he can do from there. So I think that that's why we also have to be a little bit cautious is like, what's the expectation for somebody coming in mid-season, depending upon where Toronto fall to begin with. But what you're actually getting is a very talented player who's quick. You got a forward there, right? He's a righty. He likes to play the left wing, but he can also play right or central. You could also use him as a false nine. The thing is, we'll see what Bob does, right? Like, right. I'm not the mastermind of TFC. Nobody wants that.
Okay.
And also, he's not going to get in trouble because no one's going to sell him alcohol. He looks young.
Man, this 16-year-old has quite the beard.
Yeah. First of all, hell of a kick on him. Hex Michael Raymond put Naples, Florida. Yeah, that's Maradona, God, meth. It's a little different there. Sabuteo said, great name, great big name for bringing more eyes to MLS in all seriousness, which I think is the point. I think it's the point. It's why you spend this money and why probably MLS is like, thank you, Toronto. Yeah. Barry Aguna agrees with you, said Giovinco was already out with the national team before his MLS transfer. Insigne still got a lot left in his legs. Justin Freeberg said Giovinco quote was mistranslated. That's true. There was another one that I wanted to read.
I want to read this one. This was from Douglas R.
My guy was dusty. That one?
Douglas R. He said, Toronto FC had an epiphany and saw God after being dog walked by DC United last season in the 7-1 loss. Well put. Wow.
Dog walk.
Wait, so
Barry Agunas said Giovinco was already dusted with the Asuri. So, I mean,
he's not, I wouldn't say dusted. He did get 2 subsequent call-ups.
Yeah, I was going to say, he got called up.
He got called up twice while he was already at Toronto. So it's not unheard of that would happen. It's just that it didn't pan out, unfortunately.
So
and good.
And then the issue with as far as call-ups or going to a World Cup, we don't even know if Italy's going to make it to the World Cup, right? They're still
that was going to be my question. If they make it, is he on the squad?
I think he left to Toronto. He's like, look, I'm going to go get paid. Who cares if we may not even be at the World Cup. And you can't, there's no logical reason.
Bitch, I'll buy the World Cup.
The player that Insigne is, though, he's not doing this as I'm done, I'm tapping out. Right. And I think it's fair for him to do this and have the expectation that he would still have a spot on the squad. Mancini isn't Conte, and some of the past men. I mean, realistically, right? So everybody wants to have.
Initially, I thought you said isn't Conte, but then I'm like, oh no, I know what you meant.
Yeah. So I mean, the quote that everybody gets up in arms with or wants to use as like the blanket excuse for why he's never getting called up ever again. And this depends on the manager, right? This isn't a guarantee, right? El Shawari got called up too by Mancini and he's been playing in China. So it's nothing but the quote. And I actually pulled it up because I was like, I'm not going to misquote this. No. So Conte in a press conference, and this is what people generally live and die by now, is when you make a certain choice and go to play in certain leagues, you do so taking it into account that they could pay the consequences from a footballing viewpoint, right? And that's very much on you, right? Like, so if you don't play up the standard, and again, Giovinco, peak form at Toronto when he was here, that's fine. But is it translating back to other leagues? And again, we're also looking back far enough in the years that it makes a difference, especially given the younger leagues like MLS. You make huger leaps forward in smaller increments of time. And we've seen that. So we've progressed. So for everybody that has not watched MLS or watched Serie A, now's your time.
Right. If you're gonna miss Insigne, they're on. I'm sure there's a channel available wherever you are to watch these games. So go for it. The other thing I wanted to ask you about is speaking of quotes getting misquoted or issues with interviews.
Oh, stop. Don't you dare!
No,
my guy said too much.
Romelu Lukaku really talking about how much he misses Inter and Lautaro Martinez and everything. Really, just everyone essentially took it as like he's not taking Chelsea seriously enough, and that's why Thomas Tuchel mentioned in an interview like he's being dropped off the squad because it's too much of a distraction, but. What did you think of Romelu's comments overall? I mean, in general, he just said that he wanted to play more. I'm paraphrasing. He wanted to play more.
You're doing a terrible job of paraphrasing. He said, "I'm in a moment where I believe the manager." I'm in a moment in which I believe the manager can make me play more, but I respect his choices. I just have to keep working and wait for my moment. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
But then he goes on to say, with me, it's always Milano, Milano, Milano. And then he tells Lautaro, I would love to play with him again, but don't come to Chelsea. I'll go back to you in Inter. So what are you confused by?
I mean, he didn't say, I hate Chelsea. I hate I just said I want to play and I miss my home.
Have you met the English? You the slightest disrespect.
In case anybody was wondering, soccer and football fans might be a little volatile.
Emotionally unhinged.
Yeah, there's a little damage, but we mean well. I think with Lukaku, it's not a secret that he enjoyed his time at Inter. He was appreciated. He thrived. Unfortunately, Inter were almost in the midst of declaring bankruptcy at peak pandemic. So there's a reason that Conte exited. There's a reason that he was sold. I mean, it happens, right? I don't really know what to make of it other than there was speculation that quote had actually been held from back when he was injured. So outside of that, without any additional context, right, it is what it is. But I think that Tuchel seemed to take it in stride. And I think that him not playing him was extremely intentional. But hopefully they got whatever it was squared away, because I'm perpetually rooting for Lukaku. I think he's a great player.
Yeah.
Now, what happens in Inter that he fell in love? Is it just because maybe the fans just showed him love? Is that really all it was? Was there something? I know his career took a very positive turn. Could it just have been that?
I think that coming off of the United stint where he kind of just got abused and was underappreciated drastically, to say the least, the pendulum swung back the other way. He was performing, he was appreciated. And also, Conte as a manager will get every last drop of potential out of you that he can. I wish that were not his superpower, especially since he's currently at Spurs. But
tell me about it.
Yeah, really. Gotta do something about that.
Could you guys lose real quick? Or you know what? Just wait till the North London Derby in 2 weeks. When you see this, I mean, there's so much going on with Inter, whether they're able to keep a lot of their players, whether they have to keep selling, what is their financial situation? When you look at this, is there any possibility that if Chelsea decides, you know what, we're done with it, 100 million is nothing to Abramovich?
Yeah.
You know, maybe is there a chance he goes back? But it's without Conte. Does he end up at Tottenham?
Right.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh. Let's not do that, please. Now, I think that it would require some movement in terms of current roster for them to come up with that kind of cash still. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I would be really shocked if it were. But I think that he's probably going to be settled with Tuchel for a while. And hopefully they resolve whatever issues exist. I think the only way I see him moving more quickly than that is if he legitimately comes down in price, which would be like a desperation move where it's like, I legitimately want to be out of here this badly. And that would certainly send a statement.
I love this from Bayer Raguna. He just said, Lukaku needs a hug. Okay. I can see that.
Remember when, was it Colo Torre who was upset that no one got him a birthday cake? First birthday at City?
Was it him? I don't know.
Remember
Maybe
that?
I can see that.
It was Torre.
Well, you know,
maybe Lukaku's the same way. He's like,
you
no,
laugh,
I'm giving him love.
Some players need, like, you know, a hug, and some of them need somebody screaming at them constantly to perform. It depends. That's why managers get paid what they get paid.
Right. It's interesting because I think especially with Lukaku, his, you know, obviously his time at, I'm a fan, right? He was incredible at Everton, and especially after we went to the Everton game and being around Evertonians, you can understand why some players might be spoiled by that treatment, because Everton fans, even if you're bad, they still kind of love you for playing for the club and representing the team. They really, even on players that didn't even play well, they still have like a fond relationship with those players. And Lukaku was an absolute hero at Everton. So, and really anywhere else he goes, it's really not going to be the same. So
there goes Christian just wedging Everton in.
What I'm saying is that
regardless of the conversation,
if you are, he's like, quick, here's my opening.
If you are if you are a world class footballer, and I'm talking to you, Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe, Everton really is the place for you if you want to be appreciated. That's all I'm saying. Okay,
you want love? Oh, you didn't get it. By the way, it was Yaya Torre. I looked it up. You didn't get a birthday cake? Come to Everton.
We'll give you that birthday cake every day, okay?
No, buddy, you get a birthday cake because it's Monday. Everybody is hideously out of shape. Although I want to ask you one more question, because you're not just a Serie A expert, you are also yet another Gooner, and I always like having fellow Gooners around. I posed this question on Twitter. It got pretty much a 50-50 reaction. Let's say Lukaku, and I'm going to ask both of you this question, even though I know Christian's already. Let's say Lukaku, even though I know somebody posed, I think it was Sabuteo said, they've already made up, him and Tuchel. Yeah, Lukaku and Tuchel have already aired it out privately now. They're on good terms again. Let's say that didn't happen. Let's say the season continues to slide and Lukaku is back on the market in this transfer window for $50 million. $50 million, that's half price. Still a lot, though. Do you want him at your club? Yes or no?
I don't see him fitting at Arsenal.
I mean, he's not
because of his attitude. What? Can we widen the doors a little bit? This guy's got shoulders.
No, honestly, he'd be a great guy to have on the field because he'd just be bodying everybody. But I think that I like the progression that we're seeing toward younger players. And yes, you need to still have the seasoned vets around to sort of steer the way and help people figure their way out. But I feel like I want to go younger as we move forward. I want a long-term plan. I want to see the Invincibles back again. I just the streetwear are going to be so good.
Crimson Pizza said Everton will get you the fanciest birthday cake from Tesco that money can buy. So I guess that's £5. Higgapede said if he were at 50 million, I would personally travel to London to beg West Ham to get him. And Barry Aguna said Arsenal needs to steal Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Everton can have Lukaku back.
Bro, so, I might
know why we need to remove one of his players. It's not even our player. If we just steal a player. So the question that is probably the easiest to answer in the world, Christian, 50 million though, that might be tough because of the financial situation your club is in. Do you do that deal? 50 million to bring back Lukaku.
100%. You build.
Christian's like, it ain't my money.
You build whatever, like 30% of the stadium, and that's what you'll play on. Okay, you don't have to even have. You don't even need all the lines. You don't even need both goals. Get Lukaku.
We get an idea.
We know what the game sort of is. We've seen enough of it. You don't need
the cones out. We got cones.
Okay, like when I used to play in the park, we put 2 backpacks for the goals. Okay, that's all we need. That's yes, 100%. Yes, man, that would be so. Somebody that can just hold the ball up front, a professional footballer at Everton. I'll take it any day.
Let's go. Thank you to Balm for subscribing.
B-H-A-1-M.
Balm. I guess it's Balm.
Okay.
Freddie says for Everton at this point, why not? So there you go. And I agree with you. Just to give my answer. I think he's a little bit of a changing room cancer, so to speak, because of shit like this.
I love interesting euphemism. Just changing room cancer, just absolutely the worst disease.
Super casual.
No. But I put bunny ears, so you can't get mad at me.
If I do this, it doesn't count.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I say to my mother, like, wow, Ma, you acting real bitchy right now. No. Put the quote.
What are you getting mad for?
Wow, so you're just going to hit me? Even though I gave you bunny ears? You're breaking the code.
Okay. I don't think there's anything else. If Christine, if you want to stick around for some other subject, feel free to do that. If you got to go, absolutely no worries about it. So you just let me know. The other thing I wanted to do this. Maybe we can.
They added the quote. Colo Blanco added, changing room cancer, Alexis, January 4th, 2022. You sons of assholes. You absolute sons of assholes.
I wanted to, maybe we can wrap with this, or at least wrap Christine with this, because I was going to play this later, but I think this will be perfect. I saw this tweet. And it's a video of I don't even know where the game is from, but we just retweeted it a little bit earlier. But I wanted to react to it with everyone.
Thank you, Morgan Tenza. Sorry, she said my hair looked great today.
Okay, we got to make sure we stop the show to make sure.
Yeah, 100%. No. Thank you very much.
Okay, so this is Christine, did you see this? I don't know if you saw this video. This is
the most professional overlay we've ever had.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't have any time to set. Maybe I'll do this. Okay,
there you go.
I'll be a little bit bigger.
She's in the tweet, dude.
Okay, so this is a game. I don't know where this game is, but it
feels like England.
It feels like England. I think that, based on the sponsors I'm seeing. If anybody is English and can recognize the team names WHK and THB, let us.
This is very much non-league,
right? Okay,
gotta be, yeah.
So I'm gonna play this, and this is probably the most insane. This is a bunch of highlights, but this is probably the most insane game I've ever seen in my life. Okay,
the highlights are edited together like a Scorsese film.
Okay, so people are just they're just rocketing shots everywhere.
Right. Look at this. The keeper just passed it to the striker. Striker scores.
Right. And then, so now, red team, it's just terrible shot after terrible shot. Nobody wants to take a shot from inside the box.
This was an open shot, missed it wide, and now here comes a scuffle. And this is real fighting.
How are you going to play that poorly and then fight? That's embarrassing.
Okay. But now this is where the fun starts, because here comes the official. 1 red card, 2 red cards, 3rd red card. So the crowd was olaying the red cards, by the
way. They were entertained by this.
Yeah.
Okay. So player on the ground.
Now he gets up in between the guy's legs. They're fighting. And this, I thought that was another red card.
This was obviously a breakaway. Would have had a great ball.
Open field tackle, different football. Then he punches him.
Freddie said, "This is how I play FIFA." LCAB said, "That's not a quote-unquote scuffle. That's a full-on fist fight." Yeah.
That guy just punched the dude on the ground.
Another
5th red card.
Okay, now this right there, a wild tackle. I want to play that back because the guy on the blue team loses the ball.
6th red card.
6. Loses the ball. High kicks. I mean, in the torso.
That's Cobra Kai. That's a Cobra Kai tackle.
They are going to just said, at least nobody took a dive.
And Hikipedia put nothing like the English 8th division. It's just real football, mate. It's just real football, mate.
No, okay.
Mate, we went to the real footy.
Yeah, completely open.
But look at this.
Goalkeeper way out of his line.
Keeper off his line, passes the ball. Look. Why didn't he take another touch?
Look at this.
Hits it into the stands.
The camera person knew immediately and went right back to the
And then game is over, and this is my favorite part. The managers just shaking hands at the end, like nothing just happened.
Good game, mate.
See you again next week, mate.
Yeah.
Absolute madness. I don't know. Again, that was from one.
Oh, Hikipedia did look it up. He said it's Whitehawk versus Three Bridges in the Isthmian Southeast Division, which is the 8th tier.
Wow.
So that is outside of the football league. Those are amateurs.
Yes. Three Bridges.
So those people have to go to work with
club.
yeah. White Three Bridges. I guess they play in Queens.
Michael Raymond just said that it's called X football, like XFL. The one interesting thing.
Bay Area Guna said Vinnie Jones Academy versus Roy Keane All Stars.
The one thing I wanted that I honestly thought about this, because all the comments are usually like, "This is crazy. Look how hilarious this is." But on top of the literal violence, there's also a lot of bad, poor quality football being played right here. And the thing I hate is that we can always find. I think the internet can find humor when men play football poorly. But if a woman makes a mistake, it is like, oh no, how can we watch this? But look at, this was literally an anthology of just terrible.
That's the Criterion collection of mistakes.
This is one of the worst games I've ever seen. And I wish we can get to the point where we can, if a woman makes a mistake playing football, that we can laugh about it just like we do here.
It can still be funny. No, until then, we all have to be playing at least 2 or 3 times as hard as men and making sure that we don't ever make an error, because we will never, ever hear the end of it. It's like, you can't play. And you're like, buddy, you literally can't complete 3 passes in a single game and you're coming at me. Okay. But yeah, no, it's nice to have these games pop up.
CAB said, where's the 4th bridge? And hold on, where is it? Higipedia put the 4th bridge got knocked out with a high tackle.
This is the last question for Christine. Tabuteo just said, before Christine leaves, can we get her thoughts on Liverpool attempting to postpone the Arsenal semi-final in the Carabao Cup? They have sent Mane, Keita, Salah to AFCON, and COVID cases and injuries have stopped them putting out a remaining strong team. My question, bottle jobs or valid excuse for postponement, bearing in mind Arsenal's average team is age 24?
Yeah, no,
Great
I think that we're getting back into precarious COVID territory, unfortunately, globally. And because some of the leagues have higher vaccination rates and requirements than others, it's going to continue to be a problem until we reach some sort of agreed upon standard. We're starting to see the same things again in Serie A. So speaking of Napoli, they're playing or should be playing Juventus on Thursday this week on Paramount Plus. But Napoli's coming off of a string of COVID cases, Insigne being one of them. He should be healthy, but questionable. I think that we need to start considering what the correct protocol is when you have X number of players infected, because especially with the Omicron variant, not that I am a specialist in the field, but it's far more contractable. And you're also 5 times or something to that effect more likely to get reinfected by Omicron. So I think that irrespective of how young the players are, we still need to protect our athletes. We don't know what the long-term effects are. So I would err on the side of caution, but I also am not acting in the interest of money making. I'm making decisions based on what I think would be best for humans.
Well, can I give you a different Arsenal opinion? Yo, they wild scared of us, son.
Interesting take, Alexis.
Won a few games.
I love the nuance.
Yeah. Point, counterpoint. Yo, they wild scared, B. And they
I like how I'm like, put sunglasses. I'm like, in my expert opinion. Alexis like, yo, they wild, boy.
I open a bag of Doritos as you're speaking to prepare for my statement.
The real DJ Art just said, I got COVID now, fucking around in the Bronx, salsa con fuego. Not a club. I think it's a club, right?
I'm so sorry.
And he put, and I'm vaccinated. What the fuck?
I hope you feel better, but everybody, take care of yourselves.
Dude, there's more people that I know at least getting it now than even at the beginning pre-vaccine. It's unbelievable. So yeah,
I have been very fortunate that I have not yet gotten it, but I have friends that have had it now twice or 3 times. But right now, in terms of infection rates, we're at double what we used to call peak COVID in New York City.
Crazy.
So be careful, wear a mask, wash your hands, try not to lick any doorknobs or strangers, or at least make sure they have a negative test first.
How dare you take my rights away, Christine Cupo? Can't lick strangers.
So all of you who are looking forward to licking strangers,
get your negative test.
Right.
First consent, then
right. Consent part, enthusiastic consent, and
Trust
then
me.
a negative test.
I always get consent from my doorknobs. All right.
You feel me?
You gotta do some foreplay with the doorknob first. Anyway,
my doorknob's not short because it goes.
That's a door, not a knob. But okay, I get the joke. The joke is a good joke.
Let me have the bit, Christian.
All right, Christine, thank you so much for joining us, for taking the time out of your afternoon. We seriously appreciate it. Absolute best. Everybody follow Christine Cupo on Twitter at @CCupo. or on Instagram at Miss Cupo. And check her out on CBS Sports at CBS Sports Golazo. She's doing a bunch of stuff there, Serie A stuff.
And if you think dunks are hard to get, try to get one of her cookies. I promise you it's harder.
Yeah.
They're going to be on StockX.
Is there anything that I missed that you may want to let people know about, Christine?
No. Thank you for having me again, guys. It's always such a fun time. And thank you, everyone else, for tolerating my Serie A ad nauseum. Come watch. It's a good time.
That's the in Serie A. Serie A nausea.
Christine, you're the absolute best. Thank you so much. So we'll let you go. You'll still be in the background, but you can close out whenever you're ready.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
All right. Peace.
Bye. Take it easy.
All right. Shout out to
how great is that?
Christine Cupo for joining us, getting some insight on Serie A. Usually we have all the Italian calcio stuff locked down, but we figured. Speaking of
COVID, Justin Freeberg said, "I'm just over a week from having been confirmed positive. Right now, I'm doing great, but not going anywhere for at least the next week. So please be safe, everyone. Please be safe.
Yeah.
The real DJ Art, also, please. Hope you recover quickly and everything is perfectly fine. Okay. Thank you, Sabateo. Said great guest. Yeah, no, Christine Cupo is the best.
Yeah. She'll be back on as well. She's an absolute homie. She's great. Okay. Anything else that we should make sure that
we didn't talk about the thing that was listed as the title when we started about Rangnick.
Oh, yeah. Manchester United losing to Wolves.
Their fans are going ballistic. In fact, did you get a chance to watch the game?
I didn't watch the game. I saw the goal, and I saw all the fan reaction afterwards.
I had an important phone call to take while the game was on in the second half. Okay. But I did one of those things where I muted the game, threw on the AirPods, and I stared at the TV while I spoke on the phone. So the person I was speaking to on the phone would be saying a fairly nondescript sentence. Like I'd be like, yeah, I could email you that as soon as I get off the phone. But I would say like, yeah, I'll email that to you as soon as I get off the phone. Because there was action happening. This was one of the most tense matches I've ever seen. And I'm not a fan of either of these clubs, but I have a feeling that this was like the, this was the Total Soccer Show Clásico,
Right.
The Total Soccer Show Derby. Mm-hmm. And Daryl was up in heaven just having a good time with this one, pulling the strings. Yeah. What an absolute, hey, Min AMC, thank you so much for subscribing.
Thank you.
What an absolute insane match, but also just the result.
Right, I saw the goal.
This has turned everything upside down.
I saw the goal, and I saw essentially the kind of the reaction from everybody. I was watching Flex and his response, and from what I gather is that Wolves pretty much dominated this game.
Ex Michael Raymond put important phone call. Alexis is ordering pizza. But they put it in quotes.
I'm trying to close this business deal, honey. Stop it.
I have a briefcase in my hand for some reason.
I love it. So if you are a Manchester United fan, I highly recommend. I highly recommend you follow Nigerian Scams. He also works for CBS Sports. And,
the homie.
And he tweeted this, and the caption says the Premier League looking at Ralph Rangnick's tactics, and this is from
Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. I forgot which one. But this is Chris Tucker.
Hold it. What are you doing?
Holding a $100 bill, $100 bill, and burning it in front of Don Cheadle.
Oh, it's fake. He got you. Who you say gave that to you?
It made me laugh because obviously the caption, the Premier League looking at Ralph Rangnick's tactics. So look, it is what
Robert from LA said, pizza stock. I'm getting roasted in the chat. Sabatea said, I watched the games. Wolves deserved the win. United back to Ole era play and style. Matic and McTominay playing in a 4-4-2 when you need fast midfielders was their downfall. And they got absolute beasted in the midfield.
Yeah.
So I know you didn't watch it, but you saw the goal. The goal was one of those that was like coming. It kept the momentum just would not switch back to Manchester United's side.
Right.
It really, the first half completely, it felt like Wolves had complete control. They just couldn't get that final product. And people forget this was at Old Trafford. Right. They look, and honestly, if it wasn't for, a moment of magic, they could have also lost to Arsenal. They've had some games at Old Trafford where that idea of it being a fortress is kind of gone. Nothing spells that more than freaking Wolves, which is what position were they in when this when this match happened?
Eighth. They were still in eighth. They
were still in eighth.
And they're still, yeah.
I mean,
they didn't move.
Absolute. First of all, I mean, that's just the team below Manchester United. But this win could have put Manchester United in position to compete against, it would have probably brought them up to fourth, right? Because they would have hopped over Arsenal, right? They were, no.
No, they would have been.
No, they would have been in 34. They would have been in fifth above West Ham with one game left in hand.
Right.
And there were so many people talking about like, oh, look how many matches we have in hand. Look how many matches we have in hand. You got to win them. Look, Tottenham's been doing well. They've been taking points from every one of those matches they've had in hand. But if you're Manchester United, you got to win those matches. Those points aren't already all guaranteed. And playing a team like Wolves, you've got to be able to beat Wolves at home.
Right. Baum or BHA1M said first league win at Old Trafford since.
Oh, he actually spelled it out. It's Baheim.
Baheim. Okay, perfect.
B''Haim.
Perfect. Baheim, first league win at Old Trafford since the 80s for Wolves. Okay.
Look at Michael Raymond's.
Rangnick, more like Rang Tits. Okay. All right. Yeah, you showed him.
You know the vibes, dude.
But,
you know the damn vibes.
Look, there was a lot of funny like memes and stuff. I can't I don't have them pulled up now, but there was one an image of Bruno Fernandes looking frustrated at Cristiano Ronaldo, and the caption just said, "Why did you come to United? You should have gone to City. We would have been doing better."
By the way, he corrected me yet again. It's Baheim, like palm with an H. So it is balm. It's the first thing I said.
No, Baheim. Not balm.
He said like palm with an H.
But it says no. It says no Baheim. Look at the comment above it.
I get it.
I'm gonna assume it's Baheim, not.
But change your name. Change your name. You know what? You know what's available? Rank Tits. Have you heard of it?
It's a good name. It's a strong family name.
Yanni Marquez says, Alexis saying something positive about Spurs. Better get my umbrella. It's gonna rain. Oh, it absolutely will. My tears if you guys keep winning. Saboteo said, to be fair to Phil Jones, he had a good game. Big comeback. The guys really had it rough with his mental health, mostly because of his own fans going after him.
Right. Did you see the post-game interview from Luke Shaw? Luke Shaw defended him. He said, he was happy for Phil Jones, that he's had a tough time, that he gets heavily criticized by the fans, and that he was happy to see him play. So he really defended his homie, because Phil Jones has become, a joke. Because of, especially that video.
He's the other Maguire.
Right. But even because of the, what you call it, that video of him with the wild face trying to attack the ball with his head while he's on the ground. And he's just like, you've seen that video of they zoom in on his face. And he's like, the guy looks like a madman. But honestly, if you put the camera on anyone's face when they're playing football, they're going to look absolutely insane, no matter what activity or what part of the game they're participating in.
I will say this. Look, you shouldn't make fun of the guy, and, he's had a rough go. You got to give the guy a chance to come back from injury. Yeah, but videos like that don't instill a lot of confidence.
Right.
I get why you're picking on it.
But it's become there's for every mistake.
Michael Raymond put B tits. Like palm.
Like palm.
With tits.
Bayer Guna said Phil Jones is the Scalabrini of the Prem. That's interesting, right?
Okay. Sabuteo actually has Phil Jones's photo as the little emote.
Yeah. So it's just, but there seems to be whenever Manchester United center backs make mistakes, there's 40,000 hit pieces on them of why they're a failure and why they'll never.
Yeah, but you could see why. They've had a rough one.
It
doesn't seem like any decision they make at center back is working since Vidic and Rio Ferdinand.
It's been a minute. So no, but that is the the last when was the last time United won the league? When was the last time?
Oh God,
2013.
No, can it be that long?
I think it's 2013, right? 2012. If anybody in the chat, please let me know. But it's been there was just Manchester United fans are just so used to
2012, 2013,
right? So people they're so used to success, and it's been. The tide has turned, and it's difficult to see Manchester United not even really competing for the title because I think the closest they were in the last 9 years wasn't it 2 years ago when they were in second when they were like 12 points off. They haven't really
last year they were last year.
They haven't even been that close in all that time. So this is why there's so much attention paid to them when they make mistakes because everybody's waiting for them to return to glory, and it's like it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen anytime soon, especially with the roster that they have.
So here's my question: who on Manchester United? This is what I want to figure out, and the chat can help us out here. Who on Manchester United, staff or player, is most at fault? So if you had to give 2 or 3 names right now that you think are at fault for what's happening right now, who would you say?
Look, I think
someone's going to say Chris Armas. I know someone's going to say Chris Armas.
I think we're done with the, at least Manchester United fans, because I've also seen this, that some Manchester United fans are like, Ali was right. We shouldn't have let him go. You know what I mean? The same people that were like, we need to get rid of this dude.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay, we got Glazer and Woodward. So the Glazers were going to get thrown under the bus, but they've put their money where their mouth is. They've Morgan tends to put damn it, Alexis. I was typing Chris Armas. The Glazers have bought you the things you've wanted.
Right? Yeah.
They got you Ronaldo when everybody was flipping out that Ronaldo was going to City. Mm-hmm. Right, brought back a legend. They went out and got Shamak, Peter Garcia, and Luke Sturgier said. People are blaming Ronaldo. Ronaldo's getting credit, getting blamed. Pogba wasn't even playing. Pogba somehow gets blamed. Who is at most to blame here?
I'll go with what everyone's saying in the chat, like the board and the owners and.
But why? You're gonna have to. The chat doesn't have to, but I'm gonna ask you to tell me why.
Because they've tried everything else, right? They've changed managers. They've gotten big players, big signings.
You're like, look, another hostage has to die.
Yeah, they've literally done everything. They've done or they've tried everything that they could. Again, who they appoint as manager is also part of the problem. But can you have? Is Manchester United going to have another manager that was like Sir Alex Ferguson, that had autonomy and had control, like much more control over the club? Like that probably won't ever happen again, unless they really, really trust somebody, or they bring in, or that particular manager has a couple like solid years of results. Manchester United are such a deep responsibility, and there's so many moving pieces, and I think adjusting to the modern era of not only just the game, but of just like the soccer business has been tougher for some teams than others. I would say that the teams that have evolved well into the modern era of the game, from a business side and from a footballing side, are I would argue, this is on the fence, but Arsenal, I think so. People are like, oh, they have dope merch and blah blah blah, but that's also part of it. They develop a loyalty with their supporters that has carried over after Arsene Wenger, and it doesn't feel necessarily the same with Manchester United. Like there is the loyalty is there, but are there like the same? Like I would argue that if somebody's a new fan and they're trying to pick a team, I would say they're probably more likely to pick Arsenal now over Manchester United now. with not even thinking about the history of whatever. I'm just saying, it just seems
Ronaldo being there, I might disagree, but I get the point you're making.
Right.
They seem like a team that will do more in the future versus Manchester United. It seems like there's a lot of duct tape on this thing.
Right.
You know
I'm not saying it can't be fixed then because they have the resources to do it. But whatever it is, if it's a manager not having more control to like implement the vision that they have, or even like a manager that has a vision that everyone else respects, because Sir Alex Ferguson did have that, and it's really, really difficult to have a manager that everyone trusts. Like they did, like he's Sir Alex Ferguson for a reason. It's not just. It's not.
Yeah, he got knighted.
Yeah, he got people.
Yeah. He got knighted because of how good he was as a manager.
They admired him. They respected him. They respected his level of leadership. There's so few people on the planet that even have that level of ability. That's kind of the big issue.
What's it going to take for me to get knighted, you think? I want to read some of the chat, because people obviously are blaming Ronaldo. Pogba, people are blaming. He didn't play. Fred also didn't play. Rooney, come on, hold that, Corey. Sebuteo said, Darren Fletcher is not a good coach either, though. He shouldn't be there. Sebuteo said, Carrick knew what was happening, and he left immediately. That was a little sus. Carrick being like, look, I'll help you all out in this intermediate, but I'm good. I got money. I don't need this. Barry Goodness said, Man United have all the tools to be a world beater. They need a manager with a real pedigree to hold the players accountable. That was supposed to be this guy. By the way, the agreement is, I guess this guy might get fired, but the agreement is he's going to be the manager for 6 months, and then he moves into the front office as your director of football, essentially. Yeah. I mean, this is crazy. You can't have a failed manager become your director of football. Old ass Corey said, you know that the management sucks because no one good wants to coach there, which is another issue. They waited too long and they missed out on Conte.
Yeah. So this is,
which we all agree would be the guy for this team.
Yeah. It's kind of like, a lot of people like want to work for like a big corporation or whatever. They want to work at Google or whatever. But it doesn't mean that these big companies, these successful companies, are necessarily great places to work. That's what the Carrick thing kind of reminded me. He's like, all right, this is too much of a toxic environment. I don't really need all this in my life. Sure, the money's good, but not really worth it.
He's like, I should have never came back.
I think there's I think that's kind of what's the issue. From the outside, Manchester United looks like a great gig, great place to play, but there's shortcomings, there's issues, and look. I don't know who's going to sort it out, but somebody needs to. If Rangnick at the director level can kind of trickle down a stronger confidence and philosophy, then sure. I mean, but they obviously they have to try something, because they look.
Don't you think it's a mistake? Well, while you're saying that, don't you think it's a mistake for him as a manager, knowing you have so many months to do this? Try to put his system in now. Do you think it's best to just go with a wildly defensive system? Let's stop losing these games. We can play counter. You have Sancho. You have Rashford. You have Greenwood. You have Ronaldo. You can play counter. You can park the bus. Get us out of this mess. Please stop letting us slide further than 8th. You know what I mean? Or 7th. And then correct the ship. And then when he becomes the director of football and he has an entire preseason and a manager of his choosing, Chris Armas probably, to guide the team in the direction that he wants, he'll have more time to instill those things, as opposed to, like I've said before, before Arteta got the players he wanted, I always made the reference of, you hired an Italian cook, but you gave him French ingredients. You're not going to get good Italian food that way. You know what I mean?
Well, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie Hard.
For the host. I think if you're going to, if this is the interesting thing with the things that they were saying about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, were the club's too big for him, the job's too big for him, he can't do it. We love him, but blah blah blah. And with Rangnick, like. Is the club not too big for him? Is the job not too big for him? Like, he's doing the same exact thing. It
seems just right.
It just feels like the the unrealistic expectation of the dude. This is what, his 3rd, 4th game managed. Like, he really hasn't been there that long. There has to be some sort of he wasn't gonna arrive and help them win the league this year.
But every English team does this. when a new manager gets there, you have 5 minutes to get your shit together because you need to hustle hard. I believe when Fergie first went there, his first few months weren't great. He was already getting sort of slated by the fans. When Arsene Wenger started at Arsenal, it wasn't perfect, and the fans already wanted him out in the beginning. You know, like no one gets an opportunity to just sort of correct the ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a whole new system.
Yeah. Look, Red Bull United, I hope they succeed. I mean, they're going to have an interesting change of form and change of tactics these next couple months. But I don't know I saw somebody make some joke on Twitter about like how, because Rangnick is supposedly he's the head of the coaching tree of like Jurgen Klopp and Tuchel as well. I don't know. I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah. Tuchel was in there.
And then somebody made a joke like, asking Jurgen like, oh, well, what do you think of Rangnick? He's like, I don't know that dude. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of after seeing these results.
Never heard of him.
I have no sensei.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm Ronin. Manchester United Red Bulls about to have dope kids at Bay Area Guna. Higopedia said Chris Harmis, Manchester United head coach, would be such a magnificent era based upon the extreme heights he achieved with Toronto, Red Bull New York, and the Adelphi University women's team.
Oh my goodness! So look, they
Morgan Tensa said, "Man, you wants to stay Fergalicious." What a reference! From what, when you were 5, Morgan?
Okay. All right. We should wrap up soon. Is there anything else that we should cover? We can take a quick look at the.
Wait, Jamie Lawton is once again steering the ship back to his beloved Leicester City. He said, "I hope you're blessed with Damari Gray, Leicester City talent. I loved him, but just didn't fit. I thought he was quality. Leicester going after young Belgium striker from Bruges, Ketelaere, for 33 million. I hope we can pull it off. And going after some guy from Porto. How you know Ketelaere, but some guy from Porto."
I love Jamie Lawton is the new Fabrizio Romano, I think. Reporting in.
I don't know, some dude from Portugal. Anyway,
here we go. I think some guy. I don't know.
Here we go? Question mark. Jesse Marsh for the Manchester United head coaching job in the summer. Oh man.
Okay. The Manchester City now has a 10-point lead above Chelsea. Chelsea did play Liverpool over the weekend.
Speaking of Manchester City, by the way, Lozader said, in all caps, by the way, "Look, man, you are crap. I'm so happy Ronaldo didn't come to Man City. The city is ours. The city is ours. F off back to London. The city is ours."
Okay. I love it. Why would they go back to London? But okay, sure.
Yeah. You know what? Wow. Wait, didn't they come from London? Isn't that Brooklyn Bruce from Manchester United? Said Dimitri. That would be great.
Okay, not much change in the table, but the Chelsea Liverpool game was pretty entertaining. At least Chelsea were down 2-0 and came back to tie the game. Christian Pulisic scored, and we always love to see that. He had a great ball from Conte that set him up, and
well, he had a couple misses. It was a really rough start to the match, so he was getting slated bad. Thank you, Jamie Lawton, for the subscription. He put Fabrizio Romano, "I'm insulted. LOL. I may have to contact Sky Sports to get a job. Much love to you guys. Love your content and streams. Thank you so much."
Appreciate you.
He was getting ripped apart for the way he was playing. And all of a sudden he scores a worldie, which would still be considered a worldie if it wasn't for Kovacic's incredible kick. But he scores a worldie, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "I've loved this guy from the beginning. I just got to delete some tweets real quick."
Let me just sort this out real quick. It's he needs to be scoring more. We talked about it last week. Essentially the issue with him not. He can't play as a false nine. He has to be a winger. That's really his best position at Chelsea. I mean,
but they've played him all over the place. And in fact, at the end of the match, they moved him back to wing back. I mean, what are you doing to this poor kid?
Yeah. So I mean, well, we all want to see him succeed, but it's definitely obvious that he really needs to be on play outside, and I mean, he's just so gifted. The kid is just insanely fast and great on the ball. Just if you want to see him shine, that's where he needs to be playing. So
he would be better off to not be at Chelsea, I think.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll talk about that. I'm sure we'll talk about more at the end of the season. Okay. Anything else before we wrap up? I think we're good to go. I'll just remind everybody: make sure you follow us on our social channels. Also, shouts to us. You see it there because your boys just hit 20K on Twitter. I'm not even looking at the right screen.
No, look at us right there in third place.
Completely destroyed. But there it is. 20K. Boom.
Come on.
Thank you.
We've only been on there for 7 years.
There's a lot of people who've been on 7 years that can't get to 20K.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. But no,
we didn't talk about Arsenal getting robbed by the way, Barry Aguna, but we will.
Obviously it's social media is just blah blah. It's sometimes it's great, sometimes it's the worst. But we've put in a lot of time and effort. These 20K and everybody who's followed us on any social platform, we appreciate it because the amount of work that has gone into creating a social media account in the soccer space for
difficult
for two comedians we're also not like aggregators. You know what I mean? We're not like just taking other people's content and then like just retweeting it or remaking it our own or just tagging. Like we actually try to do original stuff, and it's really
right. Like DJ Academics, who like a rapper will put up a video of him buying a watch, and then he'll put up that video. Go, did you see that rapper just bought a watch? And you're like, is this allowed?
Well, that is fine, but I mean, sometimes there's straight up accounts that literally just take other people's content and then post it as their own. And we've done everything we could to try to do original stuff. Coming from two stand-up comedians and make it fun and unique. So it's not always, because it could be easier to just take other people's content and then just tweet out a bunch of garbage and then get a bunch of followers. But that we're not trying to do that. So thank you everybody who's helped us reach that. We're 20K on Twitter, 25K on Instagram. So we're trying to build up TikTok now. So go follow us on there as well. @Soccer
All our links are right there in the chat.
Yeah, @Soccer Cooligans on all social platforms. So, and you can follow us individually as well, @Chris Polanco and @NotAlexis. So that we would appreciate it. Be nice.
Sabateo put Clips content to steal for his own media.
That's allowed. You can steal our media all you want.
yeah, please do. You don't even have to tag us. Just put it out there. Obviously, Robert from LA said arrived late, so I don't know if you guys mentioned the Everton's loss. We did not. We didn't get to talk about Everton or Arsenal.
I mean, look, I'm sure there'll be another one that we can talk about. Everton, they lost to...
if only we had some to choose from. How you feeling being in 15th place? Is it starting to get a little... Is this sweaty bum time, as they say?
I'm not scared, but I am... The last game was against...
You have 2 games in hand.
Brighton.
But Burnley has 3.
It was against Brighton. And... could have at least gotten a point there, but it's like the third goal was just another dumb mistake from Michael Keane. Just he's just giving the ball away when it's like so unnecessary. It's like you don't even need to give the ball away, and like trying to go for like a Hollywood pass, as they say, from like essentially his own box to try to get to the midfield, but. Everton, a lot of people were frustrated because they were playing 5 at the back at home against Brighton, Hove, and Albion, bro. Like, it is not good. Oh, Brighton and Hove Albion, not Brighton.
Brighton and Hove Albion. Okay, it's not Brighton, Hove, and Albion. It's a great. How many
teams? How many teams are there? It seems like a lot.
It's unfair. You lost to 2 teams at once. I gotta be honest with you.
I think there's 3, to be honest. So it's. Look, it was great to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin back. I thought he played well. He missed a penalty, and as soon as he stepped up, I was just like, bro, why? It can't be him because he's been gone for 6 months.
I understand it because you want to give it to him to get his confidence back. But as soon as I saw him step up for it, I was like, oh, this isn't a good plan at all. y'all ain't on like a win streak and just like, yo, let the fucking new guy take it.
I had a feeling he was gonna miss, and that miss ended up costing costing at least a point.
Hey, whoa, hold on. Robert from LA just threw out a great question. Christian, what do you think of this idea for the manager of Everton? Wayne Rooney.
But I love that he misspelled it. Wanye Rooney, which is he's the great Nigerian footballer. I love him.
He's the Bizarro Kanye. It's Wanye.
Wanye.
Like Wario.
Wayne Rooney, I don't think he would fix anything. Oh, well, you know what? I would say if I okay,
you got to find a way to bring him home.
Let's say I'm the manager at Everton, and what I would do, the first thing I would change is fix the mess of a midfield. Everybody was pointing this out. Everton play with 3 midfielders, and they get overrun by teams that play with 2 midfielders. It makes no sense. You have more people in the midfield, and you are getting they're literally all over the place. Alan, Doucouré, they don't know where the other one is. I don't know what the plan is as far as what happens in the midfield, but it is not like clear or concise to them. So I would probably start. I would probably start Andre Gomez in that midfield, just because he can hold the ball. That's it. Anthony Gordon has been playing, and he scored 2 goals. And
he looked great.
He did look great, but it's just about holding the ball. Either play with one less player up front, or play with 3 at the back and have a 5-man midfield. Just hold the ball in the midfield a little bit. Like, we can't have that what we had last time, which was 18% possession. That should be a sign.
Are you saying Wayne Rooney would be better than Rafa?
No, I'm saying I would be better than Rafa. And as far as just simply making that decision, I don't know. Look, Everton signed a left back and a right back, which will resolve a lot of problems because Ben Godfrey is probably best at center back, and he's been playing left back because Luka Dean is probably leaving in the next couple days. They signed Vitaly Mykolenko, Ukrainian kid, and Nathan Patterson, who came from Rangers, a Scottish kid. And both signs say, they're going to be Patterson will replace Seamus Coleman. And Seamus has not been great the last couple, especially this year. He has not been great. So at least someone fighting him for that position will be good for the team. And then having a left back who can actually play left back, who is actually left-footed, is better than having
honestly you're asking for a lot.
A center
players
back
that play in the positions they're playing in. I don't know.
There's a center back who is playing left back right now, and
Jamie Lawton says Leicester wants Digne. I don't know if that's true. If that's just Jamie Lawton.
Yeah, no, I've heard a bunch of teams are interested, and no, he's a great player. And look, if something happened, the biggest frustration that a lot of Everton fans are having is that they still have not said what happened with Luka Dean. They just have. Something happened, and they are not being transparent at all about what happened.
Speaking of player rifts, Dimitri said, "Is there a Rafa Richarlison rift?"
Oh, Richarlison, I believe, is just injured, but I have not heard anything negative about that. But
was he listed as an injured player for the last one?
I believe he was. Yeah, I think he has a calf injury. But he has not played. But Everton is losing. They don't have no Yerry Mina, no Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin out for months. What can you expect?
He's out to the end of the month.
Yeah.
No, actually, beginning of this month, early January.
Okay. So
calf strain.
Should be back soon. All right.
Calf injury.
Jamie Lawton. Yes, he mentioned the article. The Leicester Mercury referenced Luka Dean possibly going over there. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you again for tuning in to the.
Also, by the way, Everton rumored to get Coutinho possibly.
I did hear that. I mean, who knows?
Washed up midfielders, bring them in.
I'd prefer just like a wacky and waving inflatable tube man that has glue on his base so he can hold the ball. That's really all I want.
That's it.
Okay,
just give us a chance.
But he's pretty tall though. You gotta give him credit. Okay.
Also, couple of handballs coming.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you listen to the podcast, we appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe on whatever podcast platform you use, and also if you're listening on Spotify, leave a 5 stars. You can rate the podcast now, so feel free to do that. If you're listening to this as we speak, it takes literally less than a second to do that. And that's it. I mentioned follow us everywhere. We have a bunch of
there it is. Colo Blanco with the arrow. Bing bong. And Colo Blanco, follow him. The best mod in the game.
Okay.
And a bing bong.
All right. And we got a lot of fun stuff happening this year. Real soon, we're already working on kind of the final stages of the Everton stuff. Like we're working on a little mini doc of our time at the Everton Arsenal match. And I promise you, you are absolutely going to love it. So
it's going to be dope. Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see it.
So be on the lookout for that. Okay. I think that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody on Twitch, seriously, always appreciate you. Everybody brought the heat.
I love you guys.
Thank you for joining us a little bit earlier than usual. It seems like
hit that follow button if you haven't already.
Should we do it earlier than usual? Seems like this was pretty well received.
I think this is a sign.
Okay.
I think this is a sign. This is the time to do it.
Weigh in. Let us know if you think starting at 3 p.m. Eastern time instead of 6 p.m. Eastern time might be a little bit, might be a little bit better for people watching live. Morgan Tenda says, bye, dads. Okay, cool.
Bye, Morgs.
Bye. I mean, at this point, we just have to have a TV show where Morgan is our daughter, and we're the
my 2 dads?
We're the gay couple that are, raising this young girl from Philadelphia, okay?
the gay couple streamers.
Okay.
But both of our significant others are on the show as well. No one can explain this.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Everybody have a good evening. We got an interview to do that we'll be doing shortly. But y'all the absolute best. So everybody, with that said, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerrero.
And together, what are we?
The Cooligans!